Hello everyone, this is Ben, and in this video I'm going to give you a simple reason why freedom of speech should be protected. Now, before I give you the reason, I want to just lay out why people say that it should not be protected. So people who get labeled as social justice warriors, uh, they want freedom of speech to be banned, and their justification is that ideas, and especially certain ideas, are dangerous. So, for example, the simple example is, Nazi Germany. How did Nazi Germany become this terrible, evil nation that almost took over the world? Well, it became that because of dangerous ideas that people talked and shared and spread until eventually, they were trying to take over the world with their racist policies, and they were justifying all sorts of horrible, inhumane cruelties with their, racist policies. And so the argument is that speech is violence. And so what they're saying is all violence against for anytime someone actually engages in physical violence, that starts with an idea. And ideas are spread with speech, with written or vocal communication. And so certain ideas lead to violence, and every violent act that ever happens will stem from some sort of idea that's spread through some sort of speech. And so what they want to do is they want to ban certain speech. They want to say, okay, certain ideas just aren't allowed to be mentioned. So things that get labeled hate speech, like so I guess if you say racist things, then that's hate speech. Or anything like where people could say this is your speech will lead to hatred of someone, a group of people, or even just a person. They want to ban that. So the problem with this reasoning, and why this is a bad reasoning, is it's not that they're wrong. Everything they're saying is true. That's all true. It's just half the truth. The reality is quite simple. Are you going to be able to keep people from having disagreements, from differences of opinion? That's the real question. Can you prevent disagreements? Can you realistically stop people from disagreeing about things and having different views? I doubt it. What kind of control do who do you think you are that you can actually police people's thoughts and literally, the question is, how on earth could you do that? People are just going to just go their own way. They're going to, they're not going to all fall in line. There's going to be dissenting opinions. There's always going to be variation, because we're talking about 7 billion people, and how on earth do you think you're going to get all of them to think the same thing? So if they're not going to think the same thing, they're going to have conflicting ideas. So people are going to have differences of opinion, different views on things. And so the question becomes, how will they settle their differences? Well, there's only two ways to settle your differences. A, you can talk it out, or B, you can use some form of violence or force or something. So essentially, you can talk it out or you can fight it out. What are you going to do? That's the reality. So, for example, in Nazi Germany, yes, those were dangerous ideas that were spread through speech. But what you have to think of speech as is not the motivation, but rather the first filter, the first line of defense that these bad ideas broke through the speech line, and then we had to go to the violent line. and you say, well, they weren't able to stop the bad ideas with good ideas. Okay, yeah, they weren't. That didn't work there, and we had to actually go to war with Nazi Germany. That's true. But that doesn't mean that, you know, we should just get rid of free speech, because if you get rid of free speech, then you're just giving up all hope for a peaceful resolution to people's differences. That's just, now it's going to be Nazi Germany every time people, disagree. Basically, they're going to have to, the only way they're going to be able to settle their differences every time is with force, because there's no other way to settle them, unless you don't police people's speech very effectively, and they actually are communicating underground sort of black market freedom of speech, and settling their differences, and but then your law against hate speech becomes moot, pointless. So anyway, there you have it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for your time.